2, 1,
Woo!
0. Hi!
Hello, everybody!
Look how polished we are.
We're so polished. We didn't make any mistakes at all already today. Not at all.
The mistakes, I ate 4 of them.
That pizza, though.
Oh, that pizza was so
Tom
good.
brought over some real good pizza.
I did
Oh
bring over some real good pizza.
So good. I'm so into it. Hello, everybody. My name is Shut Up Kristen.
And my name is Tom Cat.
Together, we make Catt and Kristen. And we sip the tea. That's it. About the cosplay community.
That's literally all we do.
Cosplay community.
Oh, God almighty.
T-shirts coming. TM, copywritten. Don't steal it from me. I will end you. I love all of you.
She really does love everybody.
It's true. Sorry for anybody that joined us on our false start stream a moment ago.
It wasn't a false start. It was just, news.
We just weren't prepared.
News anchors go through the same thing.
Exactly. The fact that it took us 26 episodes to have this big of an F up is great. I don't know why I wouldn't
say an F up. I would just say a snafu.
A snafu. A snaff.
A whoops-a-daisy.
Amazing.
Speaking of snafus or whoops-a-daisies.
Quick segue. Just having on a segue.
Have you ever thought of a cosplay and immediately said to yourself, that could offend somebody?
No. Like, maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe, just maybe, that's a bad idea.
For instance...
Who'd have thunk?
For instance, perhaps dressing up as a Nazi is not necessarily the best choice. Unless you're in a production of The Sound of Music and you're playing Rolf. I don't want to see you in that Nazi garb, though. No.
This isn't the producers, kids.
No.
Mel Brooks didn't direct cosplay.
I don't care if that video game you love has zombie Nazis. No. This is... No.
Now, the reason we're bringing this up is because recently there was a convention called Anime Matsuri where, you guessed it, some people were dressed
as Nazis.
Why?
Now, Tom, would you ever consider, even for a second, wearing a Nazi memorabilia cosplay at a convention?
No.
No. Sorry, but no.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
No. That's...
Go directly to jail.
Yeah. Also, if you are cosplay, this is the other thing, is like, okay, so if we're constantly talking about like, why do we cosplay, right? And like, you cosplay because you love a character. So therefore, like, what... I just don't see any situation in which this makes it okay. Even if you were part of a group cosplay, and again, let's use an example of a video game that has, like, let's say zombie Nazis. I don't know that that's a real thing, but it sounds plausible to me.
Yes.
It sounds plausible. So, like, you wouldn't... That's, like, a thing that people around you could perceive very, very badly and take offense to for a very legitimate reason. Especially, and sorry, we try not to get too political on this show, but like when it's applicable, especially in this day and age where it's been proven that like there are still fucking neo-Nazis out there. Like they still exist, and there have been people in the cosplay community who have been pointed out as neo-Nazis. So like, think before you assemble that swastika. Like, that, and don't.
And it brings to light a number of questions.
Yeah.
What was security thinking?
Yeah.
Who watched the door?
Yeah.
I'm reminded of, have you ever watched the show The Meanest Girls in School?
No, I haven't. What I love?
You would adore. It's literally these Barbie dolls.
Oh, we have watched. I literally have watched this.
That?
I have watched this. I didn't know what it was called. I know exactly what it is.
Ashley Cacciadorian.
Yep,
you were supposed to be watching the door.
Yes, I know exactly what that is. Yeah, that's not... It is a security thing. And some people, I think, would fight back and would be like, well, it's free speech. It's like, well, conventions, however, have discriminatory, you have a code of conduct. You still have they're like, that's a
morals. Where are your morals?
Yeah.
Where are your morals?
I don't know what anybody was thinking in that situation.
One of the things that I've noticed is, people will always say freedom of speech, freedom of speech. That doesn't mean freedom from consequence.
Agreed. Yeah, exactly. Totally.
And the fact that they commandeered a panel room and not only read Anna Frank fan fiction, but made Holocaust jokes.
Which also very clearly shows that this was not a cosplay gone wrong. This was intentional.
This was very well thought
This
out.
was an intentional slight hidden behind, oh, well, it's a cosplay. They used cosplay as an excuse to play out their prejudice.
Here is my thing.
Yeah.
And I've said this to a number of people. From a stylistic point, Nazi garb is very fashion forward.
Right.
Black, chic.
Right.
I mean, disgusting and terrible and awful, but they had style. And that's it. But that doesn't give somebody the right. No. That doesn't give someone the freedom of speech or the freedom of whatever to assemble this, wear it prominently, and make a mockery of something so disastrous.
Yeah.
I get dark humor. Black comedy, I adore it. I live for dark humor.
Yep. This
isn't dark humor. This is incredibly tasteless.
Yeah, it's very tasteless. And it's we shouldn't even be being we shouldn't have to talk about this, but somehow we have to. It keeps on coming up. You had the people that cosplayed as the Columbine shooters a couple months back at whatever convention in LA that was.
Yeah, I think
Anime
it was
LA or
Phoenix Comic-Con.
Phoenix Comic-Con. Yeah, I think
it was Phoenix.
I think you're right. I think it was Phoenix Comic-Con. Excuse me. Yeah, they're like the couple that cosplayed the Twin Towers, the burning Twin Towers at Dragon Con. Yeah,
and
it's just so tasteless.
While I was at work, I was thinking like cosplay. You can cosplay as whomever you want, whatever you can come, whatever pops in your head. Cosplaying as Martin Luther King, great, wonderful,
totally
fantastic. Cosplaying as an assassinated Martin Luther King,
fuck off.
Tasteless.
Very tasteless.
Cosplaying as John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love seeing male impersonators or even female impersonators donning these outfits and becoming these people in history.
Influential, people in history,
Assassinated John F. Kennedy? No.
Yeah. It's just like these are lines that we shouldn't have to, that shouldn't even be being crossed to begin with, that we should have to talk about them. And quite frankly, if you need us to explain to you why those things
such
are
and
wrong,
such is wrong,
I don't know that we can even help you at this point. But you're right, Allie. People do use that stupid freedom of speech idea to protect themselves against abuse all the time, very much. And it's the same thing of like, okay, so let's take this a step further, and this is on a different level. But let's say that you threaten to kill somebody or you threaten to harm somebody. That's not freedom. That in that instance, your freedom of speech is going to have consequences. Same sort of thing of these discriminatory remarks, cosplays, acts against other people. They're going to have consequences, and I really hope that future cons are looking at these sorts of things and being like, where do we draw the line, and making very specific, making it clear to their staff specifically if they were to see a cosplay, what they say. No, like what do we say no to?
Exactly, like it's, you get that you get to that point where it's like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah,
and we see this when it comes to tasteless cosplays. We see this when it comes to scantily clad cosplays.
Yeah,
and it's just be mindful of your surroundings.
Totally,
be mindful of your surroundings and be mindful of your audience.
Yeah,
mind you. If your audience is a bunch of Nazis,
take that somewhere else because it's not welcome in the cosplay community.
Thank you.
That's it.
Elsewhere.
Period. That's not where we do not condone that in this community. I hope that if there's anything that we can all agree on, that it is that.
You hope we all agree on that.
You hope. That's it. I certainly don't want to be in a community that is welcoming people like that. We're a very welcoming community. We're a very accepting community. I'm sorry, but that is a very clear line.
We have our limits.
Yeah, it's a very clear line. Someone should contact their mamas because she needs to whoop their butts and also be held accountable for her failure to teach her offspring. Her offspring. Her offspring, whether tact and moral standards. And I'm like not even in total team blame the parents sort of deal, because there's only so much you can do to control a person. Only so much you can do to control a person.
I'm all for the Freudian mentality. Yeah. We must go back into the past and pull from there. Yeah. There's a time and a place that if your child is doing this, and you're okay with it?
Oh, yeah, well, then you're a shit person.
That's wrong.
Yeah, then you're a shit person.
If you're not
sorry. I don't make those sorts of sweeping generalizations often, but that's like just...
as someone that prides themselves on being a mother, if my child ever came to me and said, hey, look what I did, and they're about to leave the house in something I don't want them to, I'm going to say, maybe you should rethink that.
Yeah.
Just look in the mirror and like take 2 seconds to understand
Take 2 seconds
to just understand the amount of nonsense you're going to get for that. Now, the thing that really, really gets me is people who do this and they know they're going to attract attention.
Well, yeah, and that's clearly why that is why these people cosplay this, which is also shitty because like part of me is like I wish we weren't talking about it because we're giving them the attention that they hoped for, but part of me is also like we do have to use this as an example because it keeps on happening, like Nazi, Columbine, Twin Towers, etc. You'll even see from time to time a stupid like kind of racist meme that doesn't belong at a convention will be cosplayed. Like that you don't, there are certain things where it's like, when does this draw the line between you cosplaying a character you love and you just trying to piss off everybody?
And it's sort of, one of the things that I've noticed is Halloween costumes have sort of fallen in line with cosplay.
Oh, totally. I mean, Halloween costumes is kind of where all of this starts.
Where most cosplayers got their start was around like dressing up for Halloween and then falling into the fold.
Yep.
And, when you go into a Halloween store or a costume shop and you see all of these, like, chiefs and sheriffs.
Yeah, all the cultural appropriation stuff.
The banditos. Yep. Why?
Yeah. Just think before you wear it. There's a very big difference, too, between... I mean, you know what? It really isn't that big of a difference, but... You can also usually tell when someone has cosplayed something mistakenly, having just not thought it through, which is also not great. And then when someone has cosplayed something to specifically push that boundary, quote unquote, but in this case, to just fucking offend people and to bring up really traumatic shit for people because they think they're quote unquote snowflakes. So it's like, I feel like you can tell... Like you can tell when someone's intention has been there or it has just gone wrong. Like when it has just been this was an ignorant moment and we'll learn from that.
There was actually one of my very good friends, Sarah, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
She had posted a status recently that really sort of like resonated with me because it showed how much quality time and patience goes into creating something. She wants to cosplay as something based in Asian/Oriental culture.
Okay, yeah.
But she doesn't want to do it offensively, and she doesn't want to do it where it can be skewed as something that can be taken offense with.
Yeah, totally.
And, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, you're too sensitive, you're too sensitive, you're too sensitive. No,
it's a fair question.
It's a fair question.
Yeah, it's a very fair question.
And... it really makes you think about this community on the whole, because there are some people that'll still do blackface, and there are people that will say, I'm white and I'm going to cosplay the Dora Milaje.
Yeah.
Is that how it's pronounced from Black Panther? Dora.
Oh shoot, I can't remember.
Now I need to look
only saw the movie once. I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Wakanda forever.
She did it. Yep.
Wakanda. I loved it.
Yeah, Dora Milaje. The Dora Milaje. At least that's how I'm pronouncing it. Or Milaje.
I think it's Milaje. Yeah, I'm not sure now. I don't know. Don't kill me.
English words.
Nobody come for me.
Wakandan words.
Wakanda forever.
No one at her.
Nobody at me, please. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways that this, and again, it boils down to politics.
It does, and they'll even you will see people still defend people to the death of like, oh well, they didn't mean to, and I'll believe that once. I'll believe that twice.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
No, yeah, that's just not a like. We have to be thinking about these sorts of things. It's very different if you're talking about like a Starfire. Or if you're talking about doing body paint, we talk about blackface, I feel like, all the time.
Yes. Blackface has been something that we've discussed ad nauseum, but I mean,
yeah,
clearly we still have to have this conversation, kids.
It all falls into this, like, what is tasteful and what is not in cosplay. And that does also
it sort of falls into the category of what is cosplay and what isn't cosplay, because we always say cosplay is for everyone, and if you put on a costume and you're going to a convention, guess what, you're cosplaying. Yeah. But again, everything has its limits. Yeah, everything in moderation.
I'll see a lot of people, and people even that I'm friends with, and it does make me like think about it. But I think I still stand by like. Where they'll be like, I don't understand why everybody's trying to put cosplay in this box of it's this thing and not that thing and not this thing and not that thing.
There is no one right way to do cosplay.
Yeah, there isn't. And like, we are not the teachers and know-alls of cosplay. We are also, you and I are not the rule makers of cosplay by any means. So we only can talk about from our own experiences what we've found to be appropriate and what we believe is appropriate and inappropriate and etc. It's just, it can be really disheartening when you are part of a community to then also be associated with this other thing in your community that's hyper offensive. Mm-hmm. That's really the issue, is then, because the only time that I see cosplay making the front pages, and the only time that I see cosplay making the front pages is when somebody has done something shitty, like dressing up like a Nazi to a convention. And Tom knocking things over. That's the only time it makes the front news. That's it. That's it.
Tom's been gagged. It happens.
Let's check in with our comments for a second. Alana Leilani, hello. Someone at my work dressed up in a poncho and a sombrero with maracas and was mad when someone went to HR. Everyone thought it was me, but I came in an hour late that day and never had time. See, and that also shows that it would be more than one person that was like,
hey,
that doesn't seem...
Maybe that's a bad idea.
How about... No.
How about don't do that?
Yeah. And Jade says, and I love this, cosplay is by no means perfect, but when we're forced to defend our community from idiots like this,
we are a united front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But what's so crazy is that we aren't always a united front, because some people will still be like, well, maybe they were trying to do this thing. And it's those people that I'm like, please remove yourself from the community. Please.
I'm taking my con mom authority on this one.
Yeah.
Do not defend the asshole-ish behavior of another human being
when they're clearly in the wrong. Because then that puts a negative light on you. Yeah. And you don't want that. I know there's no such thing as bad publicity. Lord knows I've made a career out of it. But like, yeah. Use common sense. Yeah, totally.
Use common sense.
It's like, so if it dawns on you where you're like, is this really offensive? Do what Sarah did. Like, make a status about it. Ask a question. It's so much better to be like, hey, is this thing offensive? And have a lot of people be like, nah, that doesn't offend me at all. I think it's really fine. I don't see anybody being offended by this. And by doing the thing and then offending a bunch of people and all of us having to be like, what the fuck do we say about this now?
Why does this keep happening?
Yeah, and it's interesting.
When will people learn?
I will say it is super interesting too, being in this community. I was trying to explain this to an Asian American friend of mine who does not do cosplay, about how a thing that we call it blackface, but like talking about blackface in terms of also people trying to take on anime culture and look as much like an anime character as they can, which sometimes can mean them trying to do specific things to their face. Yes, trying to do specific things to their eyes, doing whatever. Like, it's all very, like, you're walking on eggshells here. Like,
and there's a lot of people that actually have a problem with that mentality where it's like, oh, well, if I do this, I'm going to offend that person. If I do this, well, I'm going to offend that person. Like, not for nothing. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, if you do something of that... One of the things with me personally is that I will usually, because my hair is no longer where it's supposed to be, it's splattered everywhere, I sometimes wear a turban. And I sometimes have to make a cognitive choice of, is me wearing like a head wrap? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's plain fabric, cotton, any type of... It still makes me question if it's going to be offensive to somebody.
Yeah.
And is that a problem? To me, not particularly, because I honestly couldn't give any less of a shit.
Yeah.
But some people apparently feel, oh, well, you can't do that. They're taking away your rights.
You know what bothers me, too, is, like, I think the thing that bothers me the most is also people's willingness, and a lot of people that, like, will be like, well, everyone's too offended by everything. I can't even do anything. Is, like, just not the even beginning willingness to be like, what can I do to not make someone else suffer? I was listening to when I say suffer, I was listening to a podcast recently. Mm-hmm. I was listening to Dax Shepard's podcast, Armchair Experts. And he was interviewing his wife, Kristen Bell, and they were talking about their differences as humans. And Kristen Bell was like, to be honest, when I look at the world and I look at things, I see my part in it as two things. I can either bring happiness or suffering. And so when I make choices, like if I am picking out a Halloween costume, and she was talking specifically about this, if I'm picking out a Halloween costume, I ask myself,
she's a closet cosplayer.
Is this going to bring someone's happiness or is this going to bring someone's suffering? And like, that's just like our unwillingness to let go of a singular idea that we had just because like we are so committed to like being like, no, I don't care if it's offensive or not. Like, think about somebody else for a second. Like, why be so selfish? Do you understand what I mean?
No, absolutely. Yeah. I understand completely. But there are also times, on the other hand, where I'll wear something that's offensive, but the way I wear it is offensive, not the actual costume itself. For instance, when I gender bend, when I do Raven or Catwoman, or Harem Genie,
people get offended by that.
People will get where the people that get offended about getting offended get offended.
But what I will say though is that people's being offended by that though is not rooted in anything real.
No, exactly.
It's not rooted in a cultural history. It's not rooted in reality. What you're doing isn't actually anything wrong. Whereas if you are wearing a Nazi, just because it's such a blatant and terrible example, and the fact that it's real is so crazy to me. Like, you wearing a Nazi uniform is so obviously offensive to people who are still have potentially living relatives or had relatives that were affected by the Holocaust. Like, that is like that is something that's actually rooted in something real, where you're like, I see why you're offended by that. Like other people being like misogynist or bigoted is like is their own fucking problem.
How many straws do some people want to grasp for?
Yeah, truly.
That's my question.
I remember a couple years ago at Leaky,
this is Emily Jock, by the way.
Hi Emily. I remember a couple years ago at Leaky and then at BroadwayCon the following year, people getting really upset because people who weren't a person of color dressing up as characters from Hamilton, and that's where I think the line gets a little fuzzy. And what I'll say is that there's nothing, say this all the time, there's nothing wrong with you cosplaying a character that is of another culture as long as you are not trying to take on that culture yourself. That's it. I hope everyone cosplays people from Hamilton, even though I'm Team In the Heights. Even though I'm Team In the Heights forever. Love you, Lynn, but I like In the Heights better. I hope everyone cosplays. Like, the idea to me that somebody would stop themselves from cosplaying Hermione Granger because They are...
I have seen both beautiful black and white Hermione Granger cosplays.
That was also the huge thing when The Cursed Child came out, was that the original cast of Cursed Child at the West End, Hermione Granger was portrayed by an African-American woman, and I thought that was the best thing. It's never specified. We all literally just made up in our heads that Hermione Granger
made that a thing.
Yeah, we made up in our heads because we saw Emma Watson, and because we're all so damn privileged, we made up in our heads that she must be white. She must be white, and therefore she can only be white. Guess what, kids? In the books, they never say that. They describe her hair. They don't describe her skin color. So this was something I screamed about for many days because I thought it was beautiful, and I imagined all of the young girls that then imagined themselves as Hermione Granger who might not have before, and I loved that.
You know, and it also brings up, there was another recent movie, Stitch in Time, Twist in Time, Tear in Time, something in
Wrinkle
Time.
in Time?
Thank you.
Yep. Stitch in Time, Time's End, End of Time, Land Before Time, Dinosaurs. We gotta find them.
Oh,
Jurassic Park.
Find those
Chris
tree
Pratt.
stars.
Laura Dern. Really, Laura Dern, though.
Oh, running in heels, man. Shit. Fantastic.
Oh, my God.
That was everything.
Laura didn't run in heels in Jurassic Park, though. It was the new girl that ran in.
Oh, that's, yes.
Yeah. Laura was sensible. Laura wore sensible shoes. And she still got the guy.
Yes. I still would have appreciated Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I want that pop so badly of him laying. I want it so bad. Anyway, we went on a tangent there.
There was a road.
Do you remember where we started?
Choices were taken. Wrinkle in Time.
Wrinkle in Time.
A book.
Yeah.
Where the characters are mostly perceived as white.
Yeah.
And the director made the choice of casting
Oprah and Octavia Spencer, I think.
A lot of POC.
Yeah.
People of color.
Yeah.
And POC. Are we really in the lol age still? What's happening?
Oh my God. WTF.
WTF. FTW. Whatever.
FML.
FML. Rafflecopter.
Oh God. I was like, what is this pause?
That's taking it all.
We're on Tangent City today.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so Wrinkle in Time, yes, the director chose to cast a bunch of characters as people of color.
As people of color.
Yeah.
And I think that was
amazing.
That was so
great.
So so present.
Yeah.
That was such a present idea.
Yeah. I just don't I don't get how this is so difficult for people to grasp. I just don't. It's just easy. But in the books, I thought most of people were people of color, especially Meg. I have no idea. I did not read the book. No idea.
I could have sworn. I remember reading someplace that they were pretty much not incongruent.
Mostly white.
That's at least that's the impression that
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. I did not read it.
I'll have to reread it.
Nope, I don't know. But I saw the cast, and it was a pretty diverse cast, which is nice. So
diversity is very important.
Yes. And it also brought us Reese Witherspoon with red hair.
Representation matters.
It matters. Do it. Do it.
I would like to read... Hold on. Can I read that? Oh, well. Jade is a fiery SOB.
Yes, fair. But if I had also seen those Twin Tower cosplayers... They would have gotten some words from me. Some words would have been spoken. Some vlogs would have been taken. I would have shamed them publicly. As if they needed any more shaming, but...
I mean...
It's just so awful.
And, it really does ask the question, like, are they doing it for publicity, or are they doing it because they're just assholes?
Yeah, both.
Both.
Yeah, both.
That stands to reason.
Both, because when somebody does something to offend others, they want as many people to see it as possible. When someone goes that out of their way to offend others, they want as many people to see it as they possibly can. It's part of the reason why I appreciate one of my favorite YouTubers, Philip DeFranco. He who does news stuff. he whenever there's like a school shooting or a mass shooting, he never will say the shooter's name on his show because he goes, that's what they want.
That's giving them
That's
power.
what they want. That's what they wanted, and this isn't about them. This is now about the victims. And he literally will never state the person's name, and I appreciate that because I'm like, yeah, that's what they wanted.
The good thing is we're not stating their names because, one, we don't care enough to find them out.
I have no idea what their names are. To me, they're Trash 1 and Trash 2. That's it.
Those are sound names.
Thank you so much.
Those are sound names right there.
Let's see.
No, nothing's really happening in the comment section.
How dare you? Kidding.
But I mean, it also the other thing that we wanted to talk about today was the sexualization of certain cosplays.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the human body.
Me too.
Kristen appreciates the human body. There is just certain times and places when something could be perceived as tasteless.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, we covered the incredibly dramatic end of the spectrum that is horribly offensive and that will hurt anybody.
Totally.
This is
not on the same level.
This is not on the same level at all.
Not even in the slightest.
But it's still something that does happen to a lot of our female cosplayers and male cosplayers, both respectively. Yep. I remember a few times there was one gentleman who was told to leave the con floor because he was wearing assless chaps. He had a fabulous tush, by the way. But
10 out of 10 tushes given by Tom.
10 out of 10. My goodness
10
gracious.
10 out of 10 Tom tushes. Read them and weep, kids.
We'll have it in a future episode. Tom rates the tushes.
That's not objectifying at all. That's
not in the slightest. I object nothing.
Nope. Yes, there are like a lot of examples. I remember a lot of people were particularly upset. A trend last year was that I saw a bunch of people doing sexy Chucky from Rugrats. People were upset about that.
Ruin their childhood,
etc. I think the only time that I am personally, and I'm a huge Disney fan, the only time that I am personally offended by sexy Disney cosplays is if they are done at family days on cons. If you are going to a family day at a con, choose that cosplay for another day. I'm not saying don't ever do it. I'm saying that be mindful of your audience. For me, I will say that is when I'm like, I'm not trying to shame anybody or hide their body. However, those are characters that are very sacred to somebody, and those are characters that like hold a very certain vision in people's brains. And for that, I will say that it does bother me when I do see like scantily clad versions of characters specifically at kid-friendly cons. Or days, family days, like Thursday of New York Comic Con.
That's something that we've discussed before. Where
it's length,
where we've said if you're going to do something scantily clad, save it for a hotel con where you can wear it at nighttime. Yeah. And I mean, we're not children's babysitters.
No.
We're not by any stretch of the imagination.
I mean, I am technically, but...
She technically is a babysitter. I'm everybody's mother, so I have to have a modicum of respectability.
Fair. Yes.
But I mean, even so, I'll still dress as something scantily clad.
I'm same, and I'm not, like, privy to that either.
But like, I wouldn't do it where it would be... where it would scar a child, basically.
And scar isn't even the word that I would use, because I think that is part of where the problem begins, is that, like, when their kids are little, they're taught that, like, these bodies and stuff, like, shouldn't be shown and shouldn't be whatever. I think for me, it's more that, like, there's a specific vision, especially with Disney characters. Disney tries really hard to keep their characters very specific. To maintain that squeaky
clean sort
just
of image for their characters.
Yeah, like you see the character, and you even see it, like a perfect example is like in kids shows. You'll remember from your childhood years that all of these, like all of your favorite characters in cartoons and whatever, always wearing the same outfits. That's not just because it saves the animators time. It's because they want you to remember that specific character a very specific way.
All right.
And that's like, to me, from a kid's perspective, that is what I like to see maintained at kids' days. Now, if it's a Katsucon, a Dragon Con, or whatever, eat your heart out, show off them legs, get that booty.
Show off the booty, show off the abs, please. By all means, you're doing a service to everybody.
Yeah.
Except basically what she just said. It was very well worded, by the way.
Thank you.
That was very. I appreciated that. Good for you.
Thanks. Kick. This is not a kid-friendly show.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. But and like Jade said, the kids 9 out of 10 times will recognize your cosplay faster when you're in.
Yeah, and also like you've cosplayed as Ursula before.
I have.
You've cosplayed as the Evil Queen as well. Even though that was at Katsucon, which isn't really a kid con, but like
it's
but
no,
still.
I wouldn't consider Katsucon to be like a
it's not,
like a PG con.
By no means. But I mean, you, I'm sure, understand the feeling also of I've cosplayed Snow White before, of like when a little kid comes up to you for a picture and recognizes you. It is the best feeling in the world, making a little kid's day with the proper version of that character. It just warms my damn heart. Warms my heart.
Hold on, what's happening?
What?
Nikki's going for a moment. Hold on. I know all about keeping Disney character integrity. Yes, we know, Tiffany.
I love you.
We love you.
T23 2019.
Nikki, why? I watched what I wore on New York Comic Con on Sundays. Because I work Saturdays, so Sundays are days I can really go. I actually got a little girl, probably 5, run up to me when I wore my Vaporeon cosplay.
Yeah.
Wanting a photo as she ran after with a smile. She said, "Mommy, she's a fish."
Amazing.
I'm like, close enough.
But like, that's the thing. Like, and when I did Merida, I was swarmed by kids. And like, part of me is also like, if you do a bombshell, whatever Disney character, like, by no means do I think that kids aren't going to run up to you, but I also do, part of me understands the like integrity of that character and like deciding whether or not what you're doing. I think it becomes more problematic when you're specifically doing very specific sexualization of characters, like schoolgirl version of, you know, I think
that's intentional.
We tread into some waters.
I'll give you a good example.
Yes.
One of my very good friends, she did a BDSM evolution group.
Yeah, yes.
Kept it squarely in the bedroom. Number one, because I'm sure con security would be like,
no.
Guys.
Yeah.
Guys, come on now.
Yeah, yes.
The other reason would be it can be a bit much for certain people, and some men don't know how to keep their hands to themselves.
It's sad that we have to make rules based off of that. It's sad.
Another good example, another friend of mine actually did a group of Playboy Bunny Disney princes.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not seen that. I don't.
You haven't? Oh, hold on. I have to.
So.
No, I have to show you.
Oh, that's pretty great.
And it falls in line with. There's a lot of people that, and so like this isn't even borderline tasteless, tasteful. This is just don't be a douche to people.
Yeah.
I'll show you in 2 shades.
Well, I'll even say that a couple of our friends did Disney Playboy bunnies.
Playboy bunny Disney princesses.
Yeah, not Disney princesses. It was like, I think, was it JC cosplay with Stitch, or is that a thing? I remember I saw a group, I think our friend ALJ cosplay was in it. I think. I'm pretty sure this wasn't like a cosplay, and I think I saw them at Katsu. But regardless, they did this at a con, though, that is not aimed towards kids. It's a hotel con. It's much more cosplayers, adults doing whatever they want sort of deal. And I think that is the way to go about those sorts of sexy cosplays. I love that people are so body positive. I think it's amazing, and I want people to keep on doing that and do what makes you feel good and do what makes you want, like, how you interpret the character, but make sure that it's appropriate for the audience that you're going for.
Yes.
Let's see. Allie says, I think you got to be careful with sexy and cosplay. Certain people will slut shame you or will think it's an open invitation for their hands. But at the end of the day, I think if you want to go sexy, go for it. And I agree, again, as long as it's at the right con, for the right audience. Know your audience. That's it.
You got to know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. Know when to walk away.
Oh, this is amazing. Oh, this
and
is
they're all
great.
gorgeous.
They are gorgeous. And I would say that for the most, I think that this is tasteful. That Hans, though. I think that Hans is the best of all of those. That Hans.
Some of them is good looking, shit. Like, some of them very good looking.
That Hans, though. Look at the one, the Hans.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh. But still, yeah, that's, again, though, like, you doing it at the right place, right audience. That was WonderCon.
That was WonderCon.
And WonderCon is also, to my understanding, a similar...
I think it's like a PG-13 rated R con.
Yeah, so...
like, if that, oh my god almighty, we're going to start rating cons. Like...
Yeah.
Dragon Con, NC-17.
Yeah, exactly. Having being a Superman cosplayer, it's the best. Kids flip out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great feeling. It's just like, you know, do what you want with your body, but pick the right con for your body. Not for your body specifically, just for if whether kids are going to be there ogling that body.
How dare you
come at you?
Critique my award-winning Pikachu cosplay. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
I'm coming for you.
You are coming for me. You are trying to snatch my weave.
I'm swinging in like an Ivysaur, but really I'm Venusaur, bitch. I'm Venu.
Oh, hell.
Also, Eric has finally arrived. I love him. That's all. I don't want to shame him today.
Plug the sticker.
Just remember that if you want to get a Brooklyn Link sticker, message him. Because these are super cute. They've just been on my desk. And there's one on my phone.
And there's one on her phone. My phone.
Right there. Let's see.
Same though, I don't mind people cosplaying as scantily clad versions of their family-friendly characters, but as a mother, I would not want my son to see that at an impressionable age.
She literally has a newborn.
Like, so I agree that people should be mindful of the fact that cons advertise family-friendly days and family-friendly cons for a reason. So just be respectful of the con you're attending and the audience. Know your audience.
Yeah,
Gauge your audience.
Totally. Yeah. And then Alana Leilani, though, does say, I don't know if I go to a con, my titties probably going to be out because I don't cover them in real life either. And, like, part of me is like, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, completely get that. And I'm not saying that I think you should have to hide them. I think, however, being cognizant of, like, what I would also consider, like, your day-to-day appropriateness for kids and being around kids, I think... It's just what I would keep in mind. I'm not saying you gotta lock them, drop them, pop them. Yeah, pop them if you want. Yeah, but you don't have to lock them down. I don't. That's do what you. I just be mindful. That's it. That's all. That's mindfulness.
Literally, since day one, all we've been saying: be mindful.
Just be kind to one another.
How is this such a complicated fucking thing to contest with?
That's it. We both have done. You've done Ghastly, which is a pretty
that's a pretty voluptuous. That's a pretty voluptuous
clad cosplay.
I was
yes,
completely and totally random.
Yeah,
I was at Katsucon.
Yeah.
I was just about to head down to the show floor, and I was in that skimpy little black dress.
Yep.
I wasn't in the I wasn't in the bra, the corset, and the panties. I was in a dress,
right?
With everything underneath. I had on. Did I have on stockings? I don't even think I had on stockings. Nope, no stockings. Just bare legging it all the way.
Yeah.
And one person actually recognized me for the Ghastly cosplay.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's it. Done. Exactly.
Adorable. Thank you for recognizing me. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and it's like we both love seeing people who love their bodies, showing them off and that sort of thing. Like, own your body, not saying cover up, not saying whatever, just saying, like, just be mindful of, like, if you knew that there were going to be a bunch of kids where you're going, would you dress the same way?
They'd look at Alana and say, oh my god, a smorgasbord.
They'd look at Alana and be like, damn, girl, what up, doe? That's it. Eric says, cons usually have dress codes. Abide by the dress codes. Yes. Don't be upset if you get kicked out of a con because you didn't abide by the dress code. Sorry about it. Cons usually have pretty flexible dress codes. They're usually not like high schools that are completely convinced that we must not
Skirts
distract
must
the boys.
be finger length.
We must not distract the boys. God forbid we distract the boys. Maybe
Why
the boys should
are
just get a
your
better
bra
fucking
straps
attention
showing?
span. Maybe the boys should just get a better fucking attention span, and then we wouldn't even have to talk about this. Then we wouldn't even have to be like, there wouldn't have to be dress codes because we wouldn't be constantly sexualizing each other's bodies. We'd just be like, oh damn, that's a nice body. Glad for that person.
And do
Bye.
you know, in a lot of foreign countries, there's no like real censorship. Like
I know.
Like, they appreciate the form of both men and women.
Yeah.
And I remember reading, I think it was a Russian magazine. I was peering over somebody's shoulder.
Right.
And all I was seeing was like breasts exposed, and I'm like, well, okay then.
That's it. You know, like honestly, it's one of those. It's just like so weird. It's just so weird. Emily says, but in the same sense, parents also need to take some responsibility in making sure they're going to a family-friendly day to cons as well if they're intending to take their children.
If you are a parent and you're taking your kid to a not so PG friendly con and it's a Saturday, you will see some shit.
Totally. Okay, wait. Eric just said my favorite thing that's ever been said, which is, hey, my tunics are longer than finger length. Can't have my master sword a-dangling.
Don't you just want to eat them up?
Everyone buy a sticker. I love you, Eric. Even as Merida, I can't hide the cleave, and kids usually make a comment here and there. That's interesting. No filters there, but I attempt to keep it toned down on those family days. The other day is game on, and that's what game on, baby. Do your thing. I think a lot of the conflict is because lots of people have different standards of modesty, and often people conflate their standards of modesty with morality. When I moved to the mainland, she's from Hawaii, by the way. When I moved to the mainland, I experienced a lot of culture shock because y'all on the mainland are super puritanical. That's very true. On the islands, we dress in bikinis around kids, and it's just, I don't know, normal. To me, as long as the bathing suit areas are covered, that's all you can ask for. Also, smorgasbord, I'm channeling Charlotte's Web. Amazing. No, and I completely agree with you. I think that this is a systematic problem, and it is an issue of, I completely agree. If we, stopped teaching kids from a young age that,
the human body is wrong,
and that the human body should be avoided, and that it's inappropriate, and yada yada yada.
One of the wonders of the universe is the human body.
Truly, none of us would exist without it. Literally, we couldn't have gotten here, and we couldn't have continued surviving.
I mean, I would have.
That's you're gonna live forever, baby. Remember my
light up the sky like a flame.
Remember. The twins asked me the other day if I knew that song, and I was like, "How do you know that song?" The 5-year-old twins that I babysit. Yes, and I agree with you. That's I think for the most part too. If you have those areas covered up, it's probably all right. I think it's more taking those characters and specifically making them not sexualizing them. Almost fetishizing them. Yes, that there's also a difference between that and just making them wear a leotard versus their normal things, you know.
Also, just putting down there is a real possibility I may very well cosplay as Slave Leia Ursula in the coming days.
Ma'am, you didn't tell me of this plan.
Surprise!
Am I doing Ariel? Because I'm just asking. Or am I doing Sebastian? Quick question. Let a bitch know. So that you can you imagine? You're wandering around and I'm literally slave Leia. Anda dasi. That's it. So, oh my God, Eric. Cos fame. I'm gonna crunch forever. I'm gonna learn how to sew.
So
I'm gonna seam it forever. Okay, well, that's it.
You'll remember our name.
Remember, Cos fame. Remember, Cos fame. Yeah, remember.
And yeah.
Great. So our next album is coming out very soon, entitled "Why." Hashtag blame it on the cosplays. That doesn't come off. That doesn't come off.
That doesn't. There's no roll there. No. Nope. Catt and Kristen sing the Disney songbook.
Blame it on the con. No, because con is just not a good.
Nope.
I was gonna say con crunch.
Nope.
Blame it. Okay, we're gonna figure it out. The boyfriend's calling.
We'll write it, also. And the boyfriend is calling.
It's fine. It's fine. Hold on.
Nikki tips on.
We're live right now. Literally live right now. So just say hi. They don't know your name because you're mystery man. But
what up, people?
There we go. Great. I'll call you back in a little bit. Okay, babe?
Yep.
I love you. Say hi to Tom.
Hi, darling.
What's up?
Bye.
Bye.
Great. We're a very well-produced podcast, okay?
This is critically acclaimed. The star quality of this podcast / live show.
Don't tell me to smile, okay? Don't tell me to smile.
Oh,
great.
Hell.
Great.
Overall,
yeah,
we are at the 50, almost the 53-minute mark. Yeah, we are.
Oh God, we're gonna live forever.
Yeah, we are.
We are.
People are gonna remember our name.
If they don't, then they definitely weren't listening.
They were not paying attention.
Not paying attention.
Our names are in the title.
They're in the title, okay? Catt
Kristen. Why is this such a hard concept for people?
Just write it down. Add it into your phone book.
Like us and stuff.
Share it with a friend. Tag at least 3 friends.
Tag 3 friends.
Tag 3 friends, and we will give you a single emoji.
Wouldn't it be great if we actually did that? Like before the episode started, the rule requirement is tag 3 people. Otherwise, we won't go on.
We will not. If we don't get at least 15 friend tags, we will not be entering the stage.
We shall not be moved.
Turn your phones on silent, except for us. Do not disturb. We're losing it, guys.
Did we ever really have it, though?
Absolutely not, but people are liking it.
Oh, we get angry reacts. Why
are you angry at us?
Why did we do that?
Alana literally tags 3 fucking A. That's great. That's a brilliant response to this. Alana, why are you...
Oh, why are you not here?
Why are you not here? We want Alana on the show. In case you guys did not know, we did a panel with Alana Leilani, the beautiful Alana Leilani.
Don't you dare forget.
I could never.
Your con husband.
That's. Oh, I know. Are you kidding, Eric? He was there.
I know
Eric was there. Everyone loves Tony Ray.
Yes, everyone does love Tony
Who,
Ray.
after seeing Black Panther, I was just shook. Because it's just so on point. I was like, wow. Actually, though, brilliance. Yeah, no, that's how I felt, too.
Yep.
So...
Y'all assume I have more friends than you guys? Oh.
Don't you even. You sell stickers of your face.
You sell stickers, for Christ's sake.
That's it. We have to commission Eric to make us into chibi form. Eric will be in contact soon.
I'm gagged. Gagged.
That's
I
it.
am.
Done. Okay, so should we wrap this up? Do you want to tell them who our cosplayer of the week is?
Vanjie. Miss Vanjie.
Miss Vanjie. Beautiful. Great. That's
our cosplayer of the week. Miss Vanjie. No. Our cosplayer of the week this week is Inked Prince.
Yes.
To those that don't know, he is this adorably cut. I mean, abs for days.
For days.
He has cosplayed as Doctor Strange. He's cosplayed as recently Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
He hand makes all of his
Scarlet Witch.
Just all of his cosplays, and he is such a talented son of a banister. We love and adore him. We love you.
Yes.
We love you so much.
Much love. Many loves. And if you guys are not familiar, every week we will do a write-up post. So if you want to go and check out all of their social media, that will be available.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's INKED. And Prince, I think, has a special number in it or something. But that's his Instagram.
Wonderful. Great. What?
So, okay, quick backstory behind.
Oh, we're doing the weather.
We're doing the weather backstory. We're doing the weather backstory.
Okay.
So while I was writing up one of my spectacular descriptions of one of our many cosplayers of the week,
yes,
I foolishly spelt the word weather wrong
multiple times. Could not get the word weather correctly. Like specifically just working on that word.
Yep.
It was just not happening.
It was not happening for me at all.
Yes.
By the end, I was just like, fuck it, I'm done. You write it.
You write it.
And like she started typing and then she just goes, weather. And it's
evolved.
It's become a thing.
It means that you've made some sort of typo, whether you're speaking, whether you're actually typing. And so the amount of times that we say,
thank you, Nikki. See, I told you there was a number in there somewhere.
Oh, it's in the inked.
It's in the inked.
It's in the ink 3D.
Ink 3D.
It's in ink. He's ink 3D.
Ink 3D.
Underscore
Prince.
Prince. Is it?
Yeah, the artist formerly known as.
The artist.
Was Prince ever really normal though? R.I.P.
No.
But man, I love him.
No, Bubba.
Little red Corvette. This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
That's it.
Tune in again next week. Yeah. Oh wait, no, shameless plugs.
What? Oh yes.
If you would like to follow Kristen, you can follow her on her award-winning, critically acclaimed, show-stopping YouTube channel, Shut Up Kristen. And you can follow her on Twitter under the same title, as well as Instagram or Facebook. Weather.
Everywhere you can find me. And if you want to follow the darling Tomcat, the.tom.cat on Instagram. No idea what the Twitter name is, but look up Tomcat.
Tomcat Official on Twitter.
Tomcat Official on Twitter. Tomcat Con Mom on Facebook. And shimmying on everywhere else. Bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Are they watching? Are they still here?
Do they want us?
Are they still here? Oh my god, my face hurts. Just some quick Barbie referencing. That's all.
All the Toy Story nonsense.
Thank you everyone for watching. If you want to follow also this show.
Catt Kristen
on
please.
Instagram. Do it. Actually share this though. Like
actually
share it. We love
please.
this show. We want it to keep growing. You guys have done an amazing job at keeping it the viewership consistent, and we want to keep growing. So if you like the show, please
Spread it around.
Just do a quick share to your wall. Be like a quick hey to fine looking peeps showing up and talking about cosplay and sipping that tea. That's it. And pointing.
Ciao meow for now, guys.
Mumbai, Dubai, bye. We gotta hit end now. Always this moment.